Have you walked into a clothing store lately and just felt completely uninspired? It often feels like the moment we hit a certain demographic, the fashion industry decides our only options are giant tent-like tunics, or clothes designed to help us blend directly into the drywall. If you open a standard style catalog or browse the mature section of a traditional department store, the advice is almost always about hiding. They tell us to cover up. They tell us to wear pieces that don't draw any attention to ourselves. But here's where most people get it wrong. Trying to hide our changing bodies behind piles of shapeless fabric doesn't actually make us look invisible. It just makes us look tired, and frankly, it can completely drain your confidence before you even step out the door for the day. When we wear pieces that lack structure, intention, and vitality, we aren't looking elegant. We are telling the world that we've stopped seeing ourselves. Today, we're skipping the unrealistic runway advice. We're skipping the overly dramatic makeovers that just don't work for real life. Instead, we're going to talk about 8 very common style habits that are incredibly easy to fall into, and 5 practical, comfortable swaps that actually work for a normal daily routine. This isn't about looking perfect, and it's definitely not about trying to look 30 years younger. It's simply about looking like the most polished, confident version of who you are right now. Let's start with something almost all of us have in our closets right now. The oversized tunic. We buy them because they feel like a safety blanket. They're long, they're loose, and they promise to cover up the areas we might feel a little self-conscious about. Whether that's our midsection, our hips, or our thighs, when you put it on in the morning, it feels safe because nothing is clinging to your skin. But here's what's actually happening from a visual standpoint. When a garment drops straight from the widest part of your bust all the way down past your hips without any shift in shape, it creates a single, heavy visual block. Instead of skimming over your frame, it completely erases your proportions. And this often makes us look shorter and significantly wider than we actually are. Now, this doesn't mean you have to wear tight, restrictive clothes. Not at all. The real issue is the fabric and the cut. Most mass-market tunics are made from thin, cheap synthetic blends. They pool awkwardly around the widest part of your thighs, cutting your leg line directly in half. Plus, if the shoulder seams are dropping off your natural shoulders, which happens a lot with oversized garments, it gives the illusion of a slouched, tired posture. We don't want our clothes to look like they are wearing us. We want them to feel intentional. We want them to look like they were actually made for our frames. The second item we need to look at is the utility fleece zip-up jacket, worn as an everyday styling piece. Now, let's be entirely fair here. There is a time and a place for performance fleece. If you're working out in the garden on a chilly morning, walking the dog around the block, or hiking through a state park, a fleece jacket is an exceptionally functional, warm piece of gear. The disconnect happens when this utility item becomes our default layer for running errands, meeting friends for a casual lunch, or heading out to a local cafe. Fleece is a flat, matte fabric. It completely absorbs light. It has absolutely zero structural integrity. It tends to pill and look worn out after just a few trips through the washing machine. And it instantly signals pure utility. When you throw a heavy, zip-up athletic fleece over a casual outfit, it completely overpowers whatever style choices you made underneath. It tells the world that you chose convenience over self-expression. But the most elegant women don't sacrifice comfort for style. They look for pieces where style and comfort can naturally coexist. A worn-out fleece jacket can make even a great haircut, or a beautiful handbag, look completely accidental. Our third trap is one that causes an immense amount of frustration in dressing rooms. The untailored, thin, elastic waist polyester pant. I understand completely why these are a staple in so many wardrobes. As our bodies mature, our comfort needs genuinely shift. Standard, rigid waistbands can feel incredibly restrictive when you're sitting in a car, traveling, or just going about a busy day. However, the classic, mass-produced polyester pull-on pant has a major design flaw. It possesses absolutely zero textile memory. Within an hour of putting them on, the fabric stretches out at the knees, sags at the seat, and begins to gather in awkward folds around the ankles. Because the fabric is thin and lacks structural weight, it highlights every single contour underneath, rather than providing a smooth, clean line. It creates a slightly droopy appearance that can instantly make the lower half of the body look tired. Comfort doesn't have to look sloppy, and it certainly shouldn't look saggy by lunchtime. I know this particular topic can be a bit of a debate because comfort is completely non-negotiable for so many of us. But I want to hear your take on this. Let me know down in the comments. Are you holding on to a few pairs of these thin, elastic waist pants purely because you haven't found a comfortable alternative? Or do you genuinely love the way they look? Be completely honest. This is a judgment-free zone. Sharing what you struggle to find helps all of us figure out what actually works in the real world. Now, here's the part that can change things for your morning routine without making you feel like you're wearing a costume. Instead of reaching for that oversized tunic and thin polyester pant, your first swap is a modified column of color. And we want to style this using a substantial premium knit fabric. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. If I wear the exact same color from head to toe, I'm going to look like a giant block of paint. And you're completely right. If the fabric is thin, stiff, or too bright, it doesn't work. This is exactly where a lot of women get discouraged, and they give up on the idea entirely. The trick isn't to wear neon colors or heavy, unyielding materials that make you overheat. Instead, look for mid-weight, breathable blends like a cotton modal or a soft double-knit ponte. Brands like Eileen Fisher or even premium cotton modal sets from places like Quince are excellent examples of this, and you don't have to match the shades perfectly. A rich navy top paired with a dark indigo trouser gives you that exact same elongating effect, without looking forced or matchy-matchy. This doesn't eliminate every single body insecurity completely, but by keeping the tones in the same color family, you prevent your body from being chopped into awkward halves. A double-knit ponte pant, like the ones you can find at Nordstrom from brands like Halogen or Liverpool, has actual structural weight. Because of the double knit process, it acts like gentle tailoring to smooth out your silhouette while offering the exact same stretch and comfort as a lounge pant. It's just as comfortable as your old pull-on pants, but it looks incredibly intentional. To replace that utility fleece zip-up, your second swap is an unstructured blazer or a structured long-line cardigan. Look for ones made from a high-quality cotton, fine wool, or a dense linen blend. The keyword here to keep things realistic is unstructured. This means the jacket doesn't have stiff, restrictive shoulder pads, tight linings, or high armholes that make you feel trapped. Brands like Gibson Look or Jenny Kane specialize in these types of layers. They allow your arms to move completely free, whether you're driving, reaching for groceries, or hugging your grandkids. However, because the jacket is cut with clean, architectural lines, it creates a crisp, vertical frame down the front of your body. When you wear a long-line cardigan or a soft, unlined jacket open over your column of color, it adds depth, texture, and movement to your outfit. It draws the eye inward, creating a beautiful frame that looks completely intentional and sophisticated. You get the exact same warmth and ease as your favorite fleece, but you look like you put real thought into your day. Let's move forward into the next 3 outfit habits. These live entirely in the details of how we handle patterns, footwear, and accessories. Trap number 4 is using loud, frilly, or hyper-youthful fast fashion prints to try and bring color into an outfit. Many traditional style guides tell mature women, add a fun print to look younger. Because of that advice, department stores are flooded with tops, covered in chaotic small florals, busy contrast patterns, or loud paisleys. In reality, tiny, chaotic prints often have the exact opposite effect. They can function almost like camouflage, as if you are trying to distract the eye from seeing you as an individual. Furthermore, when a garment relies on a highly busy, loud print, the actual construction and fabric quality are almost always subpar. Fast fashion brands often use busy patterns specifically to hide poor stitching and cheap, thin materials. Instead of projecting a sense of ease and confidence, these busy prints can look dated and visually noisy, detracting from the natural clarity of your face and skin tone. This brings us to the shoe dilemma, which is trap number 5. And let's be completely honest here. If your feet hurt, absolutely nothing else you're wearing matters. You could be wearing a beautifully tailored outfit, but if your shoes are pinching your toes or rubbing your heels, your posture changes, your gait alters, and you look uncomfortable. When I mention moving away from clunky white mesh walking shoes for lunch dates or errands, I'm absolutely not suggesting you squeeze your feet into narrow, flat shoes that aggravate bunions or offer zero support. That is completely unrealistic for a normal active lifestyle. The trap is assuming that our only 2 options are painful fashion shoes or bulky, round-toed running sneakers with thick Velcro straps. A heavy athletic runner worn with a nice pair of trousers completely grounds an outfit in the wrong way. It draws the eye straight down to the floor and creates a heavy, truncated line at the bottom of your leg. We want to support our joints and without making our footwear look like an afterthought. Trap number 6 is what I call the rigid, matchy-matchy accessory set. This is the habit of perfectly coordinating your necklace, your earrings, your bracelet, and sometimes even your handbag, in the exact same material, color, and stone. For instance, wearing a turquoise statement necklace with matching turquoise drop earrings, a matching bracelet, and a matching teal leather bag. While this level of strict coordination was considered the height of style decades ago, today it can look overly managed, stiff, and highly predictable. Modern style relies heavily on a sense of ease, the feeling that an outfit came together effortlessly over time, rather than being calculated mathematically before you left the house. When everything matches perfectly, it loses its personality and can instantly date your look. Let's look at how we update these elements to bring clean, contemporary harmony back into your appearance, without sacrificing your physical comfort. Instead of busy, distracting prints and perfectly matched jewelry sets, your third swap is focusing on high-contrast textures paired with singular metallic accents. Instead of using a loud pattern to create visual interest, let your fabrics do the talking. Try pairing a matte silk or high-quality cotton shell with a textured buccal cardigan, or a crisp linen shirt with a fine-gauge knit vest. This creates a deeply sophisticated aesthetic because the visual interest comes from how the different textiles interact with the light, not from a busy print. When it comes to accessories, break up those matching sets, wear the earrings on their own, or skip them entirely and choose one singular beautiful piece, like a bold sculptural gold cuff or a classic clean metallic chain necklace. Let that one piece stand entirely on its own against your neutral textiles. It looks curated, artistic, and profoundly confident. To replace the heavy athletic utility shoe, your fourth swap is what we call an almond toe flat, or a minimalist leather lifestyle sneaker. If you prefer flats but struggle with foot pain, step away from narrow flats. Look for brands designed with built-in orthopedic arch support and wider toe boxes, but constructed with an elegant, softly tapered almond toe. Brands like Bionic, Naturalizer, or Vivaya are fantastic for this. A gentle, soft taper rather than a hard, blunt square cleans up the entire silhouette of your leg line, extending it visually without pinching your toes or compressing your feet. Or honestly, just grab a clean, leather lifestyle sneaker in a solid white, cream, or ecru. Notice I said lifestyle sneaker, not a mesh running shoe. Brands like Echo, Cole Haan, or even classic leather Stan. Smiths have a low profile and clean lines. Paired with a beautiful ankle-length trouser, it gives you all the structural support and cushioning of a walking shoe. But it looks like a conscious, modern style choice rather than an afterthought. We now arrive at our final two style habits, which involve color theory and the structure of our denim. Trap number 7 is the pastel washout. As our hair turns to gorgeous silver, white, or gray, and our skin tone naturally takes on a softer, sometimes cooler undertone. A lot of traditional style advice tells us to stick to soft, washed-out pastels like pale baby pink, mint green, or dusty lavender. The issue is that if you don't have high, natural contrast in your features, these desaturated, chalky colors can completely wash you out. They blend too closely with your natural skin and hair tones, which can make you look tired or pale. They absorb the energy from your face rather than reflecting it. We want colors that illuminate your complexion and bring life to your face, not colors that make you look like you're fading into the background. Trap number 8 is hyper-stretch thin denim. Many women over 60 look for jeans with maximum stretch, often pieces containing 10% to 20% elastane or synthetic stretch blends, thinking they will be the most comfortable option for daily wear. However, very thin, highly elastic denim often functions exactly like leggings. It lacks the textile structure to hold its own line. This means it clings tightly to every curve, pulls across the knees, and almost always sags significantly at the waistband after just an hour of sitting down or walking around. This creates a constantly shifting fit that requires you to pull your jeans up throughout the day, which is the opposite of comfortable. Over time, that heavy elastane breaks down in the wash, leaving you with baggy knees and a distorted frame. Our fifth and final swap solves both of these issues beautifully, giving you a radiant complexion and a perfectly supported lower half. Instead of faded pastels, lean into jewel tones that possess real depth and saturation. Think rich emerald green, deep sapphire blue, vibrant ruby, or a warm, glowing royal amethyst. These tones provide a gorgeous, striking contrast against silver, white, or dark hair. They reflect light back up into your face, giving your skin an instant, healthy-looking glow. Pair these jewel tones with the mid-weight denim that features a sweet spot composition. Look for roughly 98% premium cotton and only 2% elastane or spandex. This specific composition gives you all the flexibility and comfort you need around the waist to sit and breathe easily. But because the weight of the cotton is substantial, the denim holds its own architectural shape. Brands like NYDJ, Not Your Daughter's Jeans, or Wit and Wisdom at Nordstrom are absolute masters at this balance. A classic straight leg cut in a dark indigo, or a clean wash smooths effortlessly from the hip straight down to the floor. It provides a timeless, flattering foundation that anchors your entire look without bagging out by the end of the day. At the end of the day, style in our 60s isn't about following strict arbitrary rules or spending a fortune on a brand new wardrobe. It really just comes down to paying attention to the details, choosing fabrics that hold their shape through a long day, and picking pieces that make you feel capable rather than covered up. You're still going to have days where you just want to throw on your old utility fleece and a pair of running shoes to dash out the door, and that is completely fine. This is a practice, not an overnight transformation. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Which one of these 5 swaps feels like something you could actually see yourself incorporating into your morning routine this week? Let me know down in the comments. I love reading your perspectives and learning from what's currently working in your own closets. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me, and I'll see you in the next video.